Okay, so we'll start over here with the shocks, with the front end. I've already got one side in, but we'll do this. And I'm going to show you 3 new tools in this video that you can use. First we got to do is we got to take the bleeder screw out for the fork drain, like that. And this goes in down here. Then we have this. I think this is the right Allen. No, it's not. Let me get another Allen. And why isn't that going in? There, I think that caught it that time. Alright, so we got that in. Now we gotta take a little bit of, I always take a little bit of fork oil. And we just want to run it around the edge inside of this, like this. So we have this retaining ring here that has to go on first. And then we have the seal that goes on like that. Now we take this tool here. So this is a tool to seat the seal on the front fork. So this is for 41 millimeter. You can get them in different sizes, and it just goes like this. Okay, so that looks like that's seated, and you can see there's a ring around. I don't know if you can see that. You probably can't, but so then we got to take this clip, and this just fits around the lip that's there, and you can see it just fits around the groove. So that's all set. So now we can put this in the vise. Okay, so if you want this tool here, this is a Ringer fork seal driver from Motion Pro, and this is 41 millimeter, and it's part number 08-489. You can see that on there, and that's what that does. All right, so let's move over to the vise, and then we'll put the cap on, and I've got another tool to show you to put the cap on. Okay, so this tool here, what it does is it fits over the end of the cap like that, and you can mount this in any kind of, it's a 1/2 inch, I'm using a 1/2 inch drill rather than my 1/2 inch ratchet, and that is a V-twin part number 16-0630 fork tube plug tool, 1/2 inch drive, fits 48 and up glide fork plug. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to put it on there, and then we just got to push. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to get this till the threads catch, just so you don't strip it. All right, so we can go put this in the front end. Okay, so we got the front end on, but it looks like this side I'm going to have to take off. I don't know if you can see how good you can see in there, but this is kind of stripped. There's a thread way in the back, but I'm going to have to re-tap this, and the only way to really do it right is to take this off so I can go all the way through with the tap. So at some point before I put the front tire on, I'll have to pull this off again. It's not a big deal, but as long as I got the front end apart, I might as well. I know the bolt fit in there before, but you had to really kind of push it in to grab those threads in the back, and I don't like doing that, so I'm just going to re-tap this. Not a big deal, like I said, to pull this off and just tap this out. So in the meantime, let's go over to the shocks, because I did pull the shocks apart. So this one I've already got done. This one I kind of cleaned off. Now I wasn't sure actually who made these shocks, because this has a progressive suspension spring on it. Where does it say it on here? Yeah, right there. It says progressive suspension. These are not progressive shocks, because these are made in Mexico. There's no real markings on them. These might actually be original Harley shocks that are on here, but they have evidently changed the springs out to these. And I can't find this number on Progressive Suspension site. So I'm sure these are older. These are probably at least 10 years old, but they look in good shape. So I'm going to show you another tool now of taking these apart and then putting it back together. So let's go over the press and we'll take a look at that. Okay, so we've got this tool right here, and this is actually from Progressive Suspension. After we get done on this little of taking this apart, we're going to go back over to where the other shock is, and I'm going to show you the other parts that come with this in case you don't have a press. But anyway, you put this on here, and this fits right over this. You want to fit it outside of this locking collar, which it does, so it fits outside of the locking collar. Let me position this a little bit better. It's going to come back just a little right there. And then basically what you want to do is you want to press the shock down. Okay, so you want to press this shock down, and you can see the collar coming away from the shock. Now there's a washer under here and a rubber grommet that I push down, but that's going to probably be up. And as soon as I put the shocks in and you ride it, that grommet will come back up. But for this purposes, it's already gone. And then you just lift this up. Do I have a screwdriver here? You want to be careful, just, you know, you don't want to stick your fingers in there too much, but this collar comes out, and then that allows you to take the shock apart. And then you just lift this up, and you can pull the shock out. I'm not going to do it because you've seen all the components for the shock over there. So what we're going to do is we'll put this back together. So we'll push this down. Let me turn it because I want it like right there. There is a flat side on each side of this, the part of the shock where this collar goes into. So we'll push this down again. And we want to clear the bottom of that piece there. So just be careful, because this is under a lot of pressure when you're compressing that shock. So it's probably down far enough. So we want to slide this collar in there like that and just let it sit, and then bring it back up, and it locks the shock in. All right, so let's take this over to the back over to where the other shock is, and I'll show you the other parts that come with this tool. Okay, first off, I'll show you how these shocks go together. So you take this piece here, which is the bottom piece, and you want to have these holes here actually you got to take this cam first. This is the adjusting cam, so you can move this up and increase the length of this. They were at the regular stock thing when I got them, so I'm going to leave it like that. And you can see this ridge right here. Actually, it doesn't matter, we have to put it together, but it goes down like this, and you can see how this is flat. This locks into that ridge right there. This piece comes down, and you're going to use the stock setting, so you use it like this. Then this comes down on top of it, and this has indentations on here where it's actually going to sit in this groove here. So we put it like this and just twist it, and you can hear it drop down into that piece. Then we have the bushing that comes down over the top of that. Then we have the shock that comes on the top of that. Then we have the cover. Then we just have to put this in the press and put that other locking key on there. Now on this tool here from Progressive, I don't think I have a number on it, but it's on Progressive's site anyway. It does come with this extra collar, so in case you have narrower shocks, it'll go around the narrower portion of the shock. This will probably still work on this shock, but it's a little close. On the Progressives, you're probably easier just to use this. It fits fairly well. So if you don't have a press, what you do is you take this piece and you hook it through the top of the shock. This is kind of a cumbersome thing to do on this. And then you thread this down. You don't thread it down, you just put it in. And then you've got this, which you just have to keep turning around. You probably have to do this in a vise. I don't think you'd be able to do this by holding it. So you move this down like this. Like that. Yeah, you probably can't do this. You probably have to secure this bottom piece in a vise. But anyway, if you don't have a press, this is the way you do it. You put it in there by tightening this down. Well, actually, you can probably do it holding it. I don't know. It gets a little loose, but I would put it in a vise. And I've heard from some people that they've done this once or twice on this, and it kind of stripped this rod. And they're saying you should grease this up when you do it, but I'm never going to use it like this because I have a press. So anyway, that's just another way that you can take these shocks apart if you don't have a press. Okay, that's going to do it for this video. So I got the shocks on. I don't know if you can see it over here if I do it, but the transmission's mounted in. It's still loose, so I can move it when I need to put the inner primary in. I'm not gonna. These shocks actually have to come off again because I've got to put these braces on that go here for the fender. But I'm not going to put these on now. It's easy to put these on the fender themselves, and then because there's only 2 bolts here that mount to the frame, where the shock is and right here, rather than trying to slide a freshly painted fender between these pieces and bolt it in. So I did go to the shop yesterday. They called me down and wanted me to bring the tank in to see if, because they did paint the front fender, and we wanted to make sure it matched, and the paint job came out awesome on the front fender. Now the front fender that I brought down there is not the one that I'm getting back because they didn't want to have to do the body work with a dent. And evidently that front fender wasn't even prepped to be painted. There was no primer on it. Doesn't look like they sanded anything or did anything to that other than spray it from the previous owner, not this new shop. So that's why they didn't really want to take the time to strip that paint down of the old fender. So they gave me a brand new fender that they had in stock. They're going to keep my fender. It's just going to be an even swap. So, but the paint, I brought the tank down and the paint matched perfectly. At first they went to PPG, and I think they said it was $650 a quart or something for that paint because Harley doesn't make it anymore. So I believe they went to a company called Color Match, which is the same color. So anyway, they wanted to make sure that before they did the rear fender and they did the pinstriping and they did the final clear coat, they wanted to make sure that it matched perfectly, and it does. So I'm looking forward to getting that back. I might actually get the fenders back before I get the cylinders back. I haven't checked on the cylinders yet, but when I brought them off, he said I'd have them before Thanksgiving. So yeah, I don't know when this is going to air. probably not going to be till the end of November that this comes out. Right now we're just at the beginning of November. I'm trying to shoot 2 or 3 weeks ahead. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.